What's up, guys? Subzero here, back for another VOD review. Today, we are going to do a game from the Americas Regional Finals, and one of the craziest things about these regionals is look at our top three here. VCLF from Brazil, Black Sheep from Latin America South, and Toddy from Brazil as well. BRLAS on top, and yeah, not a single NA player in the top three. So really crazy to see this performance, especially VCLF. 41 points on the first day here. One bot 4 to start the day off, and then 3 1 1 1 2 as his scores, which is just absolutely crazy. So let's hop into one of VCLF's lobbies here. This was, I'm trying to think if this was a lobby. Yes, I believe, yeah, this was a lobby that I did commentate on part of the regionals broadcast, or actually, I think I was in the green room for this one. So I was on the analyst desk for this one, which was a ton of fun. Sadly, this week, my regionals broadcast journey is over. I will not be commentating today, but I will be on a day next week for the finals, which is going to be really hype. So I've had a blast so far. Thanks to everybody who tuned in to the stream and watched me on my casting journey here. And we're going to start with an opener that I think it's fallen out of favor with some people. This is the Leona printer idea, the spend 50 mana one. And, you know, I think a lot of people, since this one's been nerfed and nerfed, are really not that excited to start with this. We do have a prismatic opener here, which can maybe change some things up here. Tack Kitchen, Build a Bud, Level Up, all... I mean, Build a Bud's kind of middling, but Tack Kitchen, a very solid augment. Level Up, if you want to play into this sort of like Fast 9 strategy, is good. He's definitely hovering Tack Kitchen here, but then he does see Forged in Strength. Now, this augment was nerfed this patch, so you have to get to 30 HP to get that cash out, which is a lot, but we're still going to pick it up here because it is still a high cap Andy augment. You can be very happy when you pick this up. And we also get an item for our Nasus, pick up Nasus 2, and then we can make the Gargoyle plus the Infinity Force Slam and just sit here with Nasus 2. Very upgraded, great items. And all of these fights are going to last a pretty long time. What this gives us access to is these long fights that might, you know, potentially allow us to print Leonas here. Also, pretty interesting that we opted not to make gold the last round. It almost looked like we were kind of like waiting to try to figure it out. You know, it almost looked like we ran out of time, but yeah, I guess it happens. Some interesting stuff as we look around the lobby. You see Cottontail's early Anima, has Anima in at 2-1 because he got an Anima spat here. We see CMB here with this Darkstar spat, which has been really popular across the weekend. Just a lot of people playing into Darkstar, but could also play more like Nova style with the Primordian emblem, so a lot of possibilities there. We did also see a Shepherd emblem for Crazy Cat, which gives him some nice direction. So a lot of good stuff looking around at the lobby. But yeah, you'll see the nerfs to this line are definitely felt. You know, we're sitting here, it's 2-3, and I believe both of these Leonas we've natural read. I don't think we've printed a single one, which is just... It's difficult these days to print Leona. Yeah, on 50 mana spent, I mean, you're only getting 9% chance. So you're really looking like each Leona cast adds 18, so that's already 36. But even a Zoe cast on top of this, adding another 9, that's still not 50% chance. We do end up printing here, which is nice. But yeah, you're really looking for so many casts to get prints off here. Do end up getting just Ari's opulence here. Had the option to take the tiny dupes, but especially because it's harder to print these Leonas, it's also harder to, you know, play for a Leona 4. That is like really, honestly, a pipe dream for a lot of players. We do get the Rod off Carousel here, which is going to allow us to look at Gwinsu's Rageblade as a potential slam. There's two really good things about this. One is that it's a great item late game for LeBlanc, and the other good thing is it's going to ramp up our casting this game. It's going to allow us to get more cast off for units like, you know, Zoe, and get that 50 mana spent, get that Leona printed, and hopefully get us quickly to the Leona 3 here. The other interesting thing about this opener as we just watch it is we're fortunate in strength, and we've won 2 fights and lost 2 fights. Usually when you take this augment, you're looking at a very aggressive loss streak strategy, just because you're playing down an entire prismatic. There's almost no one else in this entire lobby who's just completely playing down a prismatic here. I don't think there's anyone actually who's like, you know, Exalted Adventure or anything like that. And so it's pretty surprising that we're able to pick up these wins here. But the upside is you at least get the one artifact to start off with, so it's not like a full prismatic that you're down. But, you know, you're rocking a gold augment. and honestly less than a gold augment because you don't even get to pick the item you get, and everyone else is rocking a prismatic early, so it's a lot. It's a lot for as far as downside. Also, check VCLF's board. He's playing 2 Zoes here. This does work. So multiple Zoes, each of them casting will independently add 50 mana to that tally that will print Leonas. So this is a way to speed up your ability to print Leonas in a world where, once again, it is a lot harder to get there. I do get a Meepsy here, who is a nice, potential Shepherd unit that we can play here, but we are just going to look at playing multiple Space Groove units. Going to take another Rod here with the idea that we can make Death Cap. This is a fantastic AP item on any AP carry, and you see VCLF is kind of flexing here. He's not actually fully committing to the LeBlanc just yet, making the Guinsoo's Rageblade in the spot, because he knows there's a lot of AP carries that you can play for. LeBlanc is only one of them. We don't know if we're even going to hit that, and we do also know that Crazy Cat, who we're fighting here, has Shepherd on them, so wants to steal that here. From these, I like the Tower the best. Exiles is a pretty solid other option as well. Boxing Lessons is interesting here. It is good in some ways because you are going to get the extra unit on this board, and we are going to pick it up here. It is a little bit funny with the Gargoyle because obviously now, Leona's going to be frontlined, but not really, able to be like solo frontlined or anything like that. But still, a 4-unit boxing lesson setup here with the Shepherd is already really, really nice. And as we get later in the game, you'll just add more units to your board. The HP is also really nice on 2 Vanguards who, get that shield based on HP, so the bigger the amount of HP, the bigger the shield, so makes sense. But yeah, here our loss streak kind of really starts to begin in earnest. We are actually losing fights now, dropping closer to that 30 HP. It is really nice that CMB did win some early fights because we're checking Cottontail there, and yeah, Cottontail is the player who has very good odds of winning the lobby, is on the way to at least a 400 cash out, maybe can even think about these like 500 cash out crazy things because we got the Anima in on 2-1, so we gotta be careful. Every point of HP that we save is a point of HP that we can lose to Cottontail later and, not be dead. Lovers I tend to like in spots like this. He's looking at the free rerolls. I mean, if you do just look at gold value, the free rerolls is more, 10 gold for 5 rerolls. I tend to like Lovers just because it can give you a solid 4 cost, but no, VCLF only has his eyes on the prize of, getting to that fast level 8 and then rolling a lot there. And because we get the LeBlanc off Carousel here, we decide to strategically now finally slam the Guinsoo's Rageblade here. It's a great slam onto the LeBlanc, will allow us to hopefully save some HP in these next few fights, and it's obviously just great to know, okay, we're guaranteed at least a LeBlanc 1. That's probably enough to guarantee that we can play around her. Also, 3 Arbiter, much better odds of us printing these Leonas, so we can at least print these last 2, reach Leona 3, and that can be our front line here, especially, on this board. Sometimes you get stuck in Nunu jail. Sometimes you're not able to reach, like a Nunu. However, if you are playing for Leona 3, you don't have to worry so much about that Nunu jail. You can just say, okay, I've got Leona 3 here. Even if I just reach Nunu 1, it's not the worst here. Rotating to Cottontail here on 3-6. This is really nice. Great timing to fight him because he actually is probably just going to cash the 400 after this round here. Oh, actually drops to 397 here, which means he's going to face a kind of a funny choice here. Almost looks like he might have got griefed at some point. I don't think he full 100 loss streak there, or I think he would have gotten 75 at that point. So I do think he actually got griefed a little bit. Yeah, okay, he did get griefed because it shows 30 tech on loss. So he did accidentally win a fight. Very possible that someone full opened into him, as many people have done on this weekend so far. Just really open to griefing those Anima players. Oh, and I guess while we're here, and it's not 4-2 yet, we're not sending it just quite yet. I did just remember, by the way, that speaking of tournaments, I'm playing in a tournament today. As this VOD goes live, I will be going live to play in Kai's end of set tournament. So come check the stream out. Should be a blast. I'm in the final day, so we're gonna be playing Checkmate. This might be my first Checkmate tournament that I'm playing in of the entire set. And also, I have a tournament going on next week. Let me grab the exact timing for you guys because it does actually matter. Give me one sec. July 5th, 10 a.m. Central Time. You can convert that into your favorite time zone. Gilded Steel, a great pick up for us here. A lot of good 5 costs that we can get, and we do get some really good ones in the Blitzcrank. It's interesting. We have the Vex, but you don't necessarily want to play it just yet because it doesn't quite fit on this board. So yeah, you can see VCLF holding on to this Vex, but it's not like he can just open sell LeBlanc and play for a Vex 1 because we're never going to find Vex 2 in this spot here until we reach level 9. We do also run into the funny, awkward thing that happens when you have a Leona 3 and you do hit an early Blitzcrank is we can't play Nunu. We cannot play Nunu just yet onto our board here without dropping either Shepherd, which obviously we're never going to do, or Conduit onto this board. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to do. You'll see sometimes people drop other stuff. Now, here is finally our cash out, and what a cash out it is. Look at this. Static Shiv, Indomitable, Silvermere Dawn. The one thing I will say about this game is I really thought it was an interesting path for VCLF to take to play AP from this. But after I saw this cash out, I thought, okay, you know what? You got me beat, VCLF, because these are amazing items. I mean, Static Shiv, one of the best artifacts in the game onto these AP carries. LeBlanc, fantastic with it. Vex, fantastic with it later. And these tank ones as well, really, really, really nice. So VCLF, after this cash out, actually ends up in a fantastic spot here. Is it a little bit high roll? Yes, but I mean, hey, no one goes first on a day of TFT without a few little things helping them, and this is a really, really nice spot to be in now. But I do really want to give a shout out to VCLF for playing flexibly in this spot and, not getting too dizzy on things like the Nunu or the Vex here. We open sold that Nunu pair and the Vex because we know it simply does not fit onto this board here. We get the Bard in because Bard does actually fit pretty nicely on this board as a good conduit here, and we can just drop out of 3 Arbiter at this point. No need to play it because we already have Leona 3 and Leona 4 is simply a pipe dream at this point, and so this can be our best version of the board. And now we can look at going 9, eventually finding that other stuff. I will say Nunu 2 can come in on this board just over Leona, or you can drop Blitz if you really want to, but usually I'll be reaching Nunu 2 and then dropping Leona for him. But with these items, I don't know if we even want to do that. These are like very pure tank items that go onto Leona. Also, the obvious funny thing is that we have Silvermere Dawn and the Indomitable here. Both items make it so Leona cannot be CC'd, and so it's double CC reduction. Doesn't really do anything, but it's a lot of stats for her, which is nice. We're pretty good on items here, so we can really kind of take anything. I mean, even this, like a JG onto Bard, seems pretty decent. Triple gold I was honestly looking at here, but he wants to greed just for the guard breaker here. Decent enough, and it is a lot of gold that allows us to level in this spot here and fit, weirdly enough, just the Nunu 1 on this board. It's a pretty preemptive level here actually from VCLF. It's kind of interesting. I'm surprised that he sent it here just because it means that we can't hold on to a lot of stuff. We do once again find one Nunu and then say, who cares about this Nunu pair? I'm just going to sell him, get the 3 Voyager in via the Mighty Mech here, and now we have a full front line of units for the boxing lessons, which is just fantastic. A ton of HP onto our entire board here, and you can see this Leona with these artifacts is just unkillable here. We're rotating to upset max, win this fight. CMB ends up going 8, sadly, but you can also take a quick peek here. You can look at your scoreboard on the right here. Cottontail is just giga streaking. It is almost impossible for anyone else to beat Cottontail. We are the only person who I feel like has any kind of a shot at beating him just because he is so capped with that giga cash out. We'll wait to see we get to his board. But yeah, today was a very good day for, or yesterday I guess, was a very good day for Anima players. Most players who reached Anima went first in their lobby. You could even see some rage tweets from somebody like Dank Memes about it, saying that Riot needs to stop printing these type of cash out traits because they just win games. And I mean, he's right in some ways, though, to be fair. I mean, that's what a cash out trade does. It wins games. It's just at this level of play, not too many people who can. I mean, even with a grief, we saw Cottontail get grief this game, and even so, he was still able to cash a 400 relatively easily. Obviously, he had to drop down to 20 HP. Void Staff here, the perfect pickup because that is the main thing we're missing here is the Marsh Red. Also, when we reach Bard, obviously we moved items over to Bard 2. He's a great holder of these. We do now have the ability to, potentially put more items onto Blitzcrank here because he's Blitz 2. Sadly, we do not have a remover, so we can't move items back up. Oh, and we do finally rotate into Cottontail, and this was an interesting board from Cottontail because remember, he took Trait Tree, he made it to Brawler Rogue Emblem, and so it's actually kind of funny. We end up playing this into a Master Yi cash out, but look at this. Just with the power of our artifacts, we end up beating Cottontail here, even with this nerf Dogma. Remember, Fortune and Strength got this chunky nerf at the start of the patch, minus 5 HP to proc it, so you have to get even lower here. We had to drop to 22, but these artifacts just have been so good in our spot here that we are just clearing here. Can rotate to Upset Max, who also has a fantastic board, has the Jin 2, the Zaya 2, the Nunu CCing our backline, and I mean, to be fair, it is a great board, but is it good enough to beat our board? No, it just is not. I mean, this Leona is so tanky with these artifacts. Once again, the static Shiv LeBlanc I feel like is so good, but I mean, the more that I think about it, the more that the AP board is pretty reasonable from Forged in Strength. You think about stuff like Blighting Jewel that can go onto board, stuff like Dawn Core that can go onto Sona. I mean, so many of these AP items can actually be used quite well here, so there's actually a lot of sense that is made when you are when you're playing around this in this spot here. Do get the Sona in the end here. The max cap for this board is going to be Sona and then Vex in over the LeBlanc at this point. Obviously, Arbiter is doing nothing this far into the game. Also, beautiful quick swap here from our hero in this spot because we want to make sure that we are not getting wrapped by anything weird, not having our front line blown up by anything weird, and so just make sure you put the Leona in front of all the main carries, get her to sit there, tank up a bunch. Also a very aggressive level 10, but who cares? I mean, there's really not much for us to find on 10. We found a lot of our 5 costs already, holding onto this Vex Sona for the potential cap out like we talked about. The Shiv also fantastic on a Vex, I think. Was this a game? No, I think there was another game where somebody else had a static Shiv Vex that just absolutely popped off here. This is, by the way, look at Crazy Cat's setup here. Double Shepherd emblems, which is quite scary to get to the 7 Shepherd. Upside is 7 Shepherd. It's really hard to, you know, have it focus down all these huge carries, and because there are so many carries on VCLF's board, sure, the board gets CC'd, but, you know, it's not the end of the world here. So we just have one final person to fight here, Cottontail, and it is a 10 streak, by the way, for VCLF. So VCLF, really just one of those days where he played his plan, really solid TFT. A lot of things went right, as it does when you are the person who wins out. This Fiora actually does escape to backline here, by the way, and we do, I'm talking as if this game is a formality, but he does actually end up losing this fight here because he gets wrapped on by the Fiora. I have to be really careful versus Fiora here, and is even going to start selling onto these Vexes just to try to find something better. Also does say, okay, at this point, you know, I don't have that great of a Sona mod, so I'd rather just get an extra Voyager in here. But yeah, he's going to move his units closer here, is also going to last second try to get a swap, but he doesn't actually. One of the things that you can do here is put Blitzcrank on the right to kind of force Yi to bounce back to backline, but it is risky for sure because he does have that aggro drop. Upside is Leona lives for a long time here, and it is long enough for VCLF to pick up the win and get that first place. So shout out to VCLF for a fantastic first place here. Really fun game, and just hand-picked artifacts allow him to win out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch down below, where I'm going to be streaming right as this video goes live my tournament games, my Metafy, where if you're interested in some end of set coaching, or if you're interested in getting a jump on the new set, we're doing fundamentals sessions every single week in my group sessions. So these have been really fun to just kind of shore up everybody's fundamentals, get everyone in a spot where we're going to be good going into next set, because next set, it's only a few weeks away onto PvE. I'm super excited for set 18 and the rest of regionals and the world championships. I love this time of the year. All right, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.